Hi, I'm Roy Smith. As you know, I'm modeling the Union Pacific Evanston Subdivision. This subdivision runs from Green River in southwestern Wyoming to Ogden in northeastern Utah. Within the past few days, I've also begun to work on the Pocatello Subdivision, which joins the Evanston sub at Granger, Wyoming. But don't worry, I'll show you a map in a moment. Behind me you can see what I've done so far. It's just the beginning of the Pocatello sub. What I've built so far amounts to nothing more than temporary staging, but it adds greatly to operations on my layout. This new benchwork extends 42 inches from the existing benchwork, and the track level is 58 inches above floor level. This is chest height for me and just about right for me in end scale. I plan to extend this benchwork from here, and in this video I will describe my three options for doing so. Right now I'm standing on the Utah side of my layout. In a moment I'll move over there to the Wyoming side to begin our tour. But as promised, let me first orient you briefly on a map. This map shows you southwestern Wyoming. The rail lines are indicated by a dashed gray line. The Evanston subdivision of the Union Pacific runs from Green River, depicted by a blue dot, west through Granger and Evanston, and on to Ogden in northeastern Utah, a distance of 170 miles or so. Now, note that the Pocatello subdivision comes down from the northwest and joins the Evanston subdivision at Granger, shown by a red dot. The Pocatello sub was built in the 1870s and operated under the name of the Oregon Short Line as an affiliate of the Union Pacific. The Oregon Short Line was fully integrated into the Union Pacific in 1987 and became the UP's Pocatello Subdivision, running from Granger to Pocatello, Idaho. So here we are at Granger Junction in Wyoming. As you can see, I've basically had to compress Granger Junction into the eastern end of Evanston. It should be located much, much further to the east, but space limitations often force us to make compromises in model railroading. The Pocatello subdivision runs through a hole in the backdrop. I'm putting together a Rick's Products highway bridge to try to hide the opening in the backdrop. Obviously, I haven't built the bridge abutments yet, and I'm hoping the highway itself will disappear behind some buildings. Along with the bridge, I may also be able to use some trees and other vegetation, similar to this photo at Evanston, to hide the hole in the backdrop. The right leg of the junction is for trains headed east to Green River and beyond. The left leg is for trains headed west through Evanston and beyond. Here's what the junction looks like on the prototype. There's an eastbound train with covered hoppers on the Evanston sub, and the Pocatello sub comes in from the left of the photo. And here's a satellite view of the junction, thanks to Google. An eastbound tank car train is passing now en route to Green River. We'll let it pass, and then we'll go back to the Utah side of the scenic divider. So here we are back at the benchwork I'm building for the Pocatello Sub. It really amounts to a two-track staging yard right now. The tracks sit on Woodland Scenic's 2-inch risers so that I can do some scenery work below track level later on. As you can see, I've supported it with two very strong L brackets. I may replace the L brackets with wooden benchwork later on, but in the meantime, they support the shelf very well. Besides, it will be easy to move the L brackets when I extend the benchwork. You can see that the Pocatello Sub crosses over the Evanston Sub here. The Evanston Sub is heading down through a helix, two staging tracks representing Ogden, Utah, under the layout. I plan to build a bridge something like this one, although tracks will pass under the bridge instead of a highway. Like the Evanston Sub, the Pocatello Sub is double-tracked. I plan to install a crossover between the tracks. Of course, this will create a Y in the track, so I will need to isolate one leg of the Y and install a Digitrax automatic reverse controller for the Y. So what do I do from this end of the benchwork? I have three options. Option 1, I can extend the subdivision, starting with a curve in the corner and continuing to the closet door. I can even continue across and beyond the door if I build a swing bridge that opens when I open the closet door. Option 2, I can move the filing cabinet out of that corner and build a helix that takes the track down to staging under the existing benchwork. Or option 3, I can build a helix that takes the track up to a new upper level around the layout. I'm not sure what I'll do, but I can tell you that I hate helixes. Here on the Utah side of the scenic divider is where I'm going to construct Echo Canyon, Utah. I will use 3D scenery, not just a photo backdrop as I have done elsewhere on the layout. Here are 3 photos so you can see just how spectacular it is. In fact, it was Echo Canyon which led me to decide to model the Evanston subdivision when I began to build my layout a little over 3 years ago. And finally, here we see a westbound local freight coming through Granger Junction and arriving at Evanston. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to the Pocatello subdivision on my layout. I will update you as I continue to make progress. I'm also working on the yard at Evanston, and I plan to do a video there about industrial switching as soon as I can. Let me conclude this video by inviting you to like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, happy railroading.